Maybe they can see me in my underwear.
Nice pants.
Yeah, no pants. Hey guys, welcome back to the Fantasy Captains. I'm Frank, this is Rob. This video, NFL.com and ESPN came up with some good articles. We thought there would be fun facts for you guys to know to help you, draft your teams and whatnot. I'll kick it off. So,
just looking at trends from
we're
last
just
year
looking at trends
with your draft. So kick it off.
Exactly. So last year, 29.4% of people that drafted Jamal Charles won their league, which
not shocking. He's not won this year.
Exactly. Teams that selected 7th overall won 15.6% of their NFL titles.
I'm 6th or 7th in almost every one of my drafts.
You're 7th. I'm 8th. So hopefully that goes to 8th next year. 83% of teams won their championship that drafted a running back in their first round. 9% drafted a quarterback in the first round, and 7% went with either a wide receiver or tight end in the first round. I think the draft changed from this year to last year personally.
I was going to say, I see a lot of wide receivers in the first round this year, so that's actually shocking.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Yeah, exactly. And those are the ones that I got. What do you got, Rob?
Well, I was just going to say, I know you like Tom Brady, so, if you look at, last year, the Patriots wide receivers were tackled on the 1 yard line 8 times.
So what did he throw? 26 touchdowns. So if he gets half of those, he's at.
Yep, 3 more times than the other team, and if you get that just back to the league average, which was 3.3, Tom Brady would have been 4 additional touchdown passes and finished 8th in fantasy QB ranking. So, with Dobson and stuff,
he didn't have anyone to catch the ball either last year.
Yeah,
Temple Thompson couldn't catch anything.
1 yard line 8 times.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So it's not going to happen every year. So that gives Brady a little more value in my book.
Yep.
You got another little fun fact over there?
Yeah, of course. So in 2012, of the top 16 players in rushing yards in 2012, only one of them saw an increase in 2003. Who do you think it was? I told you.
Look at my crystal ball, Matt Forte.
Yeah,
I knew that.
You gotta know that, Matt Forte, dude. If we get, because me, Rob, and I are doing the league together. If we get the number 2 or 3 pick, you know where we're going.
Yeah, no, I agree. I honestly think Matt Forte is.
I would take McCoy over him probably, and that would be questionable. But
I most likely would too. But he's right there with Charles and McCoy for me in PPR.
Yeah. Okay. Let me go to Darren Sproles. Led the NFL in running backs with 6.6 yards per touch. Who was the second guy? Come right under him.
Behind Sproles for touch running back.
Yeah.
You know what?
I don't think you're gonna get it, so I'm gonna tell you.
I feel this is Shane Vereen Danny Woodhead. It's gonna be someone like that.
Andre Ellington with 6.5 yards per carry. I love him. You know that. 68.2 scrimmage yards per game. He was ranked 24, but he wasn't even the league guy. So
he just plays.
He's in that division.
6 games against tough teams because I think the Rams defense is going to be number 2 this year.
They're playing the Broncos this year. They have
calling it now, by the way.
What?
Rams defense will be number 2 this year behind Seattle.
Rams?
They have the best front 8, period.
You're going to call that as one?
How
about this?
Now.
Cleveland Browns have a top 5 ranked defense this year. You want to call it?
The Browns have a better ranked defense than the Rams?
No, you said the Rams are going to be
top
number 2.
All right, fine.
I say top 5.
All right, no problem. I'll take that in a heartbeat.
So if you lose...
Heartbeat.
Gracie gets to kick you in the balls.
That front 8, Gracie's my wife. She kicks me in the balls all the time.
Yeah, okay. So
but that's not the point. I'm telling you, that front 8 is going to cause havoc and turnovers. But that's the only reason Ellington is tough. You're going to make some decisions on him. Yeah, but I wouldn't shy away from him. I think the guy's good.
Yeah, although that's the only reason I don't like Ellington too. That division is super tough. But I think they're going to do a lot of dump-offs. We'll see. We'll see what happens in preseason.
Agreed.
What else you got?
I have one just talking about, going off the Tom Brady fact, the only other team that had more drop passes was Matt Stafford and the Detroit Lions. They had your boy Golden Tate. It was targeted 94 times.
And never misses.
How many do you think he dropped?
I forgot.
94 targets.
How many did you drop? Maybe 5?
Deuce.
I mean, I told you, he's got the
deuce.
But you weren't high on Golden Tate. I'm high on Golden Tate.
I'm still not high on him.
You compared him to Nate Burleson.
I did, because the number 2 receiver on the Lions notoriously isn't great fantasy. But for Matt Stafford and his completion percentage and the drops, and the fact that, you add the fact that,
You got Calvin.
Calvin, he's up there, and
You got those passing running backs.
and the guy that used to be calling the offensive plays, Scott Linehan, right? He was the offensive coordinator for Dante Culpepper when he blew away fantasy football with 888 points, right? Then he was Stafford's, offensive coordinator when Stafford had a ton of points, right? When he was top 4 quarterback. Guess he's calling the plays for this year? Tony Romo.
Oh yeah.
So
you're
who
hoping-
I'm very high
So
on
that's
as far
why
as a
you're-
fantasy quarterback.
That's why you might go Dez over Thomas.
I didn't say I'd go Dez over Thomas. I said I might go Dez
Over
over
Lacy.
Lacey in the
Well,
first
why
round.
would you go over Lacey? So I got a Lacey fun fact.
Okay.
From week 10 on, Lacey led the NFL with 7 rushing touchdowns.
I don't
Then you know.
diss Lacey. I think Lacey's great. I think I'm just trying to change things up a little bit with my draft strategy this year after those top 4 running backs and going for that stud wide receiver if Demarius, Calvin, or Dez is there.
So you're the in my league. You're 7. So who if you go wide receiver first, who do you think you're gonna get coming back? You know what I'm saying? You're gonna get an Ellington probably.
I might, which would be
Yeah.
great, or I might get another good wide receiver because what I
Yeah,
forgot
that's
to
true.
mention there was AJ Green also.
You can get
I'm
Pierre
leaving
Garçon.
him
You
out.
can get Antonio
It
Brown.
all depends, you
Yeah,
you
you gotta
can't
see how-
pre-plan
yeah,
a
you
draft
can't.
like that.
No, you don't drive yourself crazy.
So,
Yeah.
but yeah, I'm considering that. So,
What else you got?
so another good one is keeping on the quarterbacks. So another quarterback that is going a little later and people are sleeping on a little bit is Matt Ryan. Last year he was under a lot of pressure. The offensive line was beat up. They drafted Jake Matthews at right tackle. They added another tackle from Kansas City, got Sam Baker back from injury, and they hired Mike Tice, the offensive line coach. So put all that together, and then you get the healthy Julio and Roddy together, which they barely had last season. They only had them together on the field last season for 5 weeks, but when they were together on the field, Matt Ryan was the number 6 QB in fantasy points. So that offense, now that he has protection, and if those guys can stay healthy, Matt Ryan can really put up some good fantasy
You
points.
think the tight end's gonna do anything with Tutulio or something?
He's a sleeper, tight end,
I mean, someone's got to catch some. you
True. I mean, the ball's got to be
I guess
spread
they could
around,
count.
but you got Devontae Freeman there.
Yeah,
Now
Mark
Jacquizz
Freeman.
Rodgers gets the ball out of the backfield, so I don't know how much they rely on the tight end, but
Maybe
just-
just a blocker.
Matt Ryan, though, I think has potential to have a lot better fantasy points than he's had in the past.
Top 5,
I don't say top 5, but top 10,
top 10. All right.
in my opinion. He's got that there, so.
I don't have any quarterbacks on my list.
Well,
Screw that.
give me another good one that you like.
All right, how about this? I'm high on Le'Veon Bell. Not
Yeah.
you so much. So over the last 9 weeks in 2013, Le'Veon Bell had 212 touches, tied him with your boy Matt Forte. So he's going to touch the ball a lot.
Absolutely.
And he's good in the PPR format and the standard format, in my opinion. It doesn't matter if he can stay healthy. I
He
don't
showed he could bounce back from the injury, though. He came off the injury last year, and
Yeah, hooked it up.
and just by the stats you spit off there, obviously showed he could do it. No,
He did
he's
what he
going
had to
first, second round. He's definitely a mid first, RB1. Just behind the top
do.
tier.
Yeah, I mean,
guys.
I'm looking at him or Bernard coming back if I go for wide receiver first, personally. But I'm the 8th pick, so,
Yep. No,
And a 12
I'm
team,
not
yeah.
shying away from him at all. I think he's good value for where he's going, and then obviously he's got some stats.
So
to prove it.
early second round, late second round. Yeah, that's true. What else you got, pal?
We talked about him in our other video, but real quick, Kelvin Benjamin. The guy had 8 touchdown receptions of 15 or more yards, which tied him for the most of any player in college in a qualifying conference. And during Cam Newton's career, Panthers wide receivers had the 7th deepest average target distance in the league. So that combination of Cam and Benjamin, I
dominate.
think, is going to put up some fantasy points this year.
He's
for
going
a
to take
rookie.
over for Steve Smith.
It is.
Basically.
I mean, it's tough
You
with a
can't
rookie.
compare the two.
They're definitely going to be hot and colds. There'll be games where he probably disappears. But in general, like I said, I'm pretty high on the kid this year. So.
Yeah, sure. Your boy Rashad Jennings had 4 runs of 20-plus yards last season with the Raiders. The same number as all of New York did all of last season.
And we weren't
That's
very
why they made
explosive
the
offensive
playoffs.
running team. Like I
Playoffs
said,
for you.
the new offense, though, I like it. And, to kind of go off of that, though, over the past 5 years, the Giants running backs have had the second most rushing touchdowns, 11 most rushing yards in the NFL. They run 55% of the plays inside the 10-yard line, which is the seventh highest in the NFL. So that bodes well for Rashard Jennings in that offense. So with his explosiveness too, he showed it in 73-yard run preseason.
Yeah. What else you got?
So keeping with, let me go back to wide receivers real quick. So when you're looking at the Niners, and people were a little down on Colin Kaepernick, he had no weapons.
Yeah,
but if you look at including the playoffs, without Michael Crabtree in the lineup, Kaepernick was a 66 QBR, and he was his completion percentage of 56%. You throw Crabtree in the lineup, he went up to 75% quarterback rating and almost 60% completion percentage. So Crabtree starting in the lineup off the bat and being healthy this year helps Kaepernick and Crabtree's fantasy value in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. So I got Edelman here.
Mm-hmm.
Last 6 weeks of the season, led the NFL with 53 reception and was third with 92.7 yards per game.
Yeah, and probably fell down on the 1 yard line 8 times.
6 times. Yeah, he was 6 out of the 8.
No, but on top of that, another hot wide receiver that was in with Edelman during the final weeks of the season. Over the last 8 weeks of the season, only 4 wide receivers had more receptions than Kendall Wright. And I like Kendall Wright, and he's going late. And that was Edelman, Garcon, Josh Gordon, and Andre Johnson. Kendall Wright's a guy that's going late, just like Edelman, too. He's not getting a lot of love right now. So both those guys showed at the tail end of the season that, they can produce. So
you mentioned Garcon had 10 plus targets in the last 10 games. So they're looking for him.
We talked about targets. He's number 2 in the league in targets overall. We talked about this in another video. So, yeah, absolutely. Garcon, they look for him.
He's not going to be on my team this year, but,
you never know.
Yeah.
And you want to throw Cordell Patterson? We're talking about wide receivers. He caught 60% of his targets last year, and during the final 5 weeks of the season, he was tied with Demaryius Thomas and A.J. Green for 4th in fantasy points among wide receivers.
Yeah, I got that.
So again, another guy who came on late, and and last year, Josh Gordon's offensive coordinator was who? Norv Turner. Who was Cordell Patterson this year?
Norv Turner. Does that do anything for Kyle Rudolph?
It does. I mean, I
don't have any Kyle Rudolph.
I have a fun Kyle Rudolph fact. Hold on. Since 2007, the top tight end in Norv Turner's offense has never scored fewer than 7 touchdowns and only once has fallen short of 700 yards. And this year, his tight end is 6'6", Kyle Rudolph.
Nice.
So there you go. You got your Kyle Rudolph fact.
I got Dez here.
No, I still don't trust him.
Yeah. He's burned me too many times. I'm done with that. You know who my 2 guy targets are. I'm not going to say them just in case people in our draft are watching this.
Clay and Heath Miller. We're helping people out here.
I always pick those.
You can't be selfish, just your own draft. We're trying to help people. They're not going to subscribe to hear about who give a crap about who draft.
Email me at fantasycaptains@gmail.com. I'll give you all the secrets. No, I'm just kidding. So Dez had a receiving touchdown in each of the last 5 games of the season too.
Yeah.
Dez is the beast.
Not only that, he was tackled inside the 5-yard line 7 times, which is the most in the NFL.
Yeah.
And if he scored on 3 of those, he would have had the same fantasy football total points as Calvin Johnson.
But Calvin didn't even play the whole
That's
game.
Calvin missed a few. Neither did Dez, though.
Yeah.
So, but I'm just saying. I mean,
I thought Josh Gordon led the league
in
yards and points.
No, this is he just saying he would have tied Calvin Johnson in points, not led anything if he would have scored just 2 out of those 5 he had tackled on.
Cool.
Which I thought was interesting.
I got another wide receiver, Demaryius Thomas. 14 receiving touchdowns last season. Were scored most in the NFL. Beast. Let me see. 7 of those were for 20+ yards.
Yep.
As bonus.
A lot of people in leagues where you get those bonus. I know in my league, any pass touchdown over 50 yards, you get bonus points.
In our league too. Anything over 100 yards.
I mean, he's going most likely first round in most of the drafts, but his value goes even up more in those where you get those bonus points. Yeah. Other quick wide receiver that last season Torrey Smith, he's quiet. He's quiet again this year as far as where he's going after the draft position. But
No one's high on him.
right, last
Except me and
year
you.
he had career highs in targets, receptions, and yards on deep throws last year. He just had 0 touchdowns. He just 0 deep
this year
touchdowns. Sorry.
Well, they took Antoine Bolden away. This year they added Steve Smith,
Yep.
which will.
Well, it still helps spread the
Torrey
field,
Smith will
but
help
if the last 5 deep touchdowns of both of it, Torrey Smith has had at least 5 deep touchdown passes in both of his first 2 seasons.
Yeah.
So you look at that, he had none last year. It's a bit of an anomaly. Torrey Smith, if he just had 3 of those, he would have been tied with Pierre Garçon in fantasy points, was been 14th in wide receiver. So again, another guy going low that has a lot of potential this year.
Yeah, that's it. You got anything else?
Let's see.
Any fun facts for the?
You know what? There's one last one just to talk about it because
Rob has the ESPN list. I have the NFL list.
It's good. It's Matt Berry does his kind of 100 facts and trends about fantasy football, and these really do help when you're looking at draft and trends because things do repeat themselves, and little things like guy getting tackled on the 1 yard line, makes a big difference. The last thing is just a tight end. We've kind of talked about it a little bit. I haven't touched on too much, which is Greg Olson. Over the second half of the season, only Jimmy Graham had more tight end targets than Greg Olson.
The problem is I don't know if I'm going to reach for him in the fourth,
You think he's
sixth
going
round.
high?
Yeah, I think by the 6th round he'll be gone, and I don't draft tight ends.
I'd have to look at his
That's my
ADP,
problem.
but Olsen is a tight end to look at.
I love him too.
Depending on where you feel comfortable
I
drafting
like
tight
Dennis
end,
Pitta.
his ADP. Pitta's
Another
got
good one.
a new
But
offensive
the late round
coordinator.
guys are Clay and Heath Miller, like you said.
Yep.
So that's it for us. Next week I'll put on some pants. If you got a free show, you're welcome.
Please sign up and write in hashtag Frankie put on some pants.
I can't make any
at
promises.
Fancy Captains on Twitter.
For the people that know me, they should just be happy I have a shirt on.
That's a good point. And it's clean, kind of.
No. Yeah. All right, that's it for us, guys.
Yeah.
We'll see you next time.
At Fancy Captains on
Good luck.
Twitter.
We'll see you next week. Maybe we'll do week 2 next week.
Yeah, we'll look at some of the preseason games and
We'll
then
see if Rob gets
figure
some.
more stuff
Rob's
out.
got to get some beauty sleep. He's got some bags under his eye.
A little hurt and I need a beverage.